Well, tonight we continue our live interview speaking with local officials from all across our region. They're sharing their thoughts about the upcoming election. I'm joined now by Matt Lees, a political science professor from Southeastern Illinois College. So, Matt, I want to say, as always, thank you so much for being here with us and always coming back to do these interviews and offer your insight.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
So I want to start off talking about, obviously, the election, but what makes this one different from others in the past?
Almost everything.
Yeah.
I went back to see if I could find a parallel in terms of the closeness of this race. Right now it's 0.4 percentage points differential between the candidates. So I was able to find basically two elections, the 2000 election, and it was less than two percentage point difference. Then I went back to the, ultimately it was the 1960 Kennedy versus Nixon. That comes down to two states and less than 10,000 votes in those states. So we're in for potentially a very long night on Tuesday night.
And speaking of Tuesday night, what are some things that you'll be watching out for personally while watching the election unfold?
The demographics, you know, who gets their voters to the polls. When the margins are this close, that's going to be critical. We're getting a hint of that in the early votes. I was looking back how many votes were cast in 2020 versus right now. We're about 53 million. At this point, 4 years ago, it was 90 million. So those numbers are down. The demographics really look differently from what they did in 2020. It's an older electorate. Those 65 plus are 9 percentage points higher than what they were. Younger vote is down, minority vote is down, and Republican vote is up 6 percentage points, Democratic vote is down 6 percentage points. Because early votes historically benefit Democrats, those are concerning numbers for the Harris campaign. With that said, she has a much better ground operation than Trump does. So we're getting an indication of what election night might look like electorally.
Well, of course, we've been keeping a close eye on the polls, and I mean, they are really neck and neck. So do you think a winner will be announced on election night?
I would be really surprised. A number of Secretary of States have come out, Michigan, and they said, look, we're not going to even announce a winner that night. So I'd be surprised. I'll be looking very closely at what happens with minority voters, what happens with working class voters, especially in Virginia, the suburbs. That was the first kind of canary in the coal mine with the Clinton campaign when she started to underperform Obama's strength in those areas. For Donald Trump, I'll be initially looking at Indiana, looking at rural voters and working class voters, see if those numbers are high. Of course, Indiana is not a swing state, but it's going to be an indication of what other Midwestern states like Wisconsin and Pennsylvania and Michigan will be doing later on.
Well, it sounds like Tuesday will be a long and interesting night for us.
To say the least.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time and being here to chat with us tonight.
It's always a pleasure. Thank you.
And for the latest election coverage, you can always go to our website. That's WSILTV.com, and then click the Your Voice, Your Vote tab from the left drop-down menu.